and welcome to Spooky Okie podcast. It is season 2. I'm Madison.
And I'm Catherine. It's
And
good to have you guys.
I thought we would be good at this by season 2. This is our 23rd episode, and we still can't do an intro. This is a problem.
Hey, in Wine and Crime, Kenyon always forgets to say her name, and it's like 300 something episodes. So
okay, so we're fine. Also, I have my heated blanket because it's really cold. And, okay, you know how in one of the episodes last season I was like, "Look, you can see my breath." It's not that cold, but it's pretty cold out here. It's not even that cold outside. I swear it's colder in my shed than it is outside. I don't know why.
Do you have a sheep buddy to keep you warm?
I do not. No, they're all big now.
Oh,
they're giant. So no little lambs yet.
Maybe later on in the season.
Probably. But my heated blanket is much better because they don't poop. So
poop. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So very happy about that. It's huge and fluffy, and there's the little heating elements through the whole thing. I've been talking about this heated blanket nonstop. It's a game changer. If you've never had a heated blanket, get one because you'll never want to be underneath anything else ever again. So anyway, that's my life advice. Is
including Hugh Jackman, because I don't know, I'd be under that.
Okay, I take it back. You will never want another blanket again.
Okay.
We're getting a lot more scandalous in our episodes. Wow. Okay.
Sorry, should we cut that?
No, we shouldn't.
No? Okay.
We should just keep it. Yeah, I take it back. You'll never want to be under another blanket again.
Okay.
There.
Okay.
Fixed it. Anyway, I hope we got something we can use as an intro in all of that. I really don't know if we did. There was a lot that happened and none of it was good. So let's just move on and hope for the best at this point.
Oh, wow.
It's season 2, you guys. We're so excited to be back. When you're hearing and or watching this, it should be like the day before Halloween, I think. I think this is coming out the day before Halloween. So spooky season. Happy spooky season. We're excited. We love spooky season. We had 6 months between these seasons because we were going to be so prepared. Like we had such big plans.
We were going to be on top of it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, our plan was to have every single episode done for you guys. So we could just put them out. No stress, no big deal. Do lots of investigations over the summer. I don't think I need to tell you that I frantically finished the notes for this episode right before we're recording. And yeah, it's October already and we've done nothing since April. So, but I
asked Madison if she would do the first story because I'm behind on my college class. So
we're struggling. We had really good intentions, but we did go on a road trip. We went on a haunted road trip and we talked
it was so much fun.
Investigations. So check that out on our Patreon. It's only $3 a month. So, putting that out there. It was so cool.
If you want to hear us talk to Bonnie and Clyde.
I don't know if anybody else had a Bonnie and Clyde obsession at some point, but man, I was obsessed in high school with Bonnie and Clyde. And to actually talk to them was wild. Like a highlight of my life, probably. It was so cool. Bonnie and I are besties. It was intense. Now. It was great. Aren't we besties?
They are.
We are best friends. It's so cool. I literally was like, after we left, I was like, I want to go back and talk to her again. She's so fun. Like, I think I'm gonna go have a picnic there one of these days. It's not that far. It's only Louisiana. Like, I can do that. So I haven't done that yet, but I'm gonna go back and hang out with Bonnie because we're besties now. We also just recorded an episode of Myths, Legends, and Ghost Stories of McCurtain County. With our friends at ICG Advertising. We love them. They're great to work with. And it is up on YouTube right now. I will put the link in our show notes. It's so spooky, so cool. It was so incredible. Good. It looks so good. They did an amazing job. Like, it looks so good. I'm so excited for people to see it. It's got like 15,000 views now, I think. So it's like, we were the guest stars of it. Like, we came in, we told the story, and we went and investigated a haunted place, and it was so much fun. Like, a blast. So you guys, it was really cool.
I feel like the videographers really captured how it feels to do a ghost hunt, but they captured it visually because our visuals never really are that great. But
Yeah,
the
all we
video
can do is
is
set up on a
like,
tripod. So
yeah, they captured the excitement of it, the like intense feels when, the dowsing rods move. They captured that with their, video equipment, where we can't do that when we're actually doing a ghost hunt. So
right,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, because all we can do when we go out there is set up like either a really cheap video camera that's horrible quality on a tripod, or one of our phones on a tripod, and it just sits there, and that's it.
Yeah.
So to be able to have actual like two different camera people, like it was so cool. It was so cool. And they're pros. They made it look amazing. Like, oh, it was so fun. We had some very spooky moments. They were very freaked out. Like they were very scared, but they did an amazing job. It was so fun. So we will link to that in the show notes, so you guys can check that out on YouTube. It's Myths, Legends, and Ghost Stories. It's through Beaver's Bend Cabin Country. So check them out. Go check out Beaver's Bend. It's a really cool place too. Like it's amazing.
A gorgeous place. People always say, oh, there's nothing in Oklahoma. Well, if you're just driving the interstate, sometimes it seems like that. But if you get off the interstate, go check out Hochatown. Go check out Beaver's Bend Cabin Country. It is the place to be.
Okay, so speaking of the interviews, what am I saying? Speaking of the investigations on
ghost interviews, investigations.
Ghost interviews, it's the same thing. That's all it is. That's really what it is, actually. The investigations on our Patreon. If you guys have any ideas for the Patreon, send them our way, because we are all ears.
We're open.
But yeah, we want to put more on there. We are also changing our format a little bit. We're not going to do the episode investigations anymore. That's going to be exclusively Patreon, because listen, you guys, we tried so hard to be able to investigate and still get decent enough audio to make episodes. If you're here this far, you know the audio on those episodes is awful, and it just doesn't translate well. Like it just really doesn't. We thought we could capture it. We can't. Like it has to be video. And so we're gonna make that exclusive Patreon content, and we're gonna do, I think we decided 3 or 4 a year, like big investigations where we go out to the places. We'll still have our spooky place episodes. We're gonna tell you all the spooky stories. We'll still have true crime. We'll still do Sister Stay, maybe some guest episodes here and there, like we've done before. But the investigation episodes are going to be exclusively Patreon content, and they'll be video. They won't be audio. So we're just needing to do that. Oh, should we tell the Patreon story?
I think it's time. Guys, Patreon, I know right now, so far we have not had a ton on Patreon, but we're going to up our game, and it is time to up our game because we lost a key listener on Patreon.
My mother stopped supporting us on Patreon. You guys, we logged it. We were having like a planning call a few days ago, and we were talking about our Patreon numbers and stuff. And I was like, well, let's log in and see, let's see what we're at. And I was like, oh man, we lost one. Like, because our numbers are low enough at this point that we know if we lose one. So we lost one. And I was like, oh man, we lost one. And Catherine says, wouldn't that be funny if it was your mom that we lost? And I was like, that would be hilarious. I click on the like audience tab, like the whatever the tab is. It was my mother back in like June. Like it's been months. And I was like,
she stopped subscribing.
Stop supporting us on Patreon like months ago. And I was just like, what? My own mother stopped supporting us on Patreon. So I was a little upset about it, but I also was like, I'm pretty sure
it's bad, y'all, when we lose a mom.
I know. My mother stopped. She is no longer a patron. No, it was like a debit card. Like she got like a new one, didn't know how to update it or whatever. But I was like, sure. Likely story, mother. Likely story. Since she hates paranormal stuff. But whatever. It's fine. She said she fixed it. We'll see. We'll see if she fixed it. But anyway, that was our story.
Hey, at least your mom subscribed for a while.
She did. Yeah. She did.
Hey, at least your mom subscribed for a while. My mom's never supported us on Patreon.
I mean, I think my mom was on there for like 2 or 3 months, maybe. So we'll see. Sorry, Mom, if you're listening. Not that you would be listening or watching this. She's guarantee. She's not going to be listening. She's not. She left after the Hugh Jackman comment. She's out. Okay. Anyway, we should move on quickly past this. We haven't even gotten to the story. That means we've been talking for 32 minutes so far and have not gotten to the story yet. This is ridiculous.
It's okay. Hey, think about how many
fine.
times, and that's why we drink, have talked for probably that long before
For 32 minutes? That's pretty extreme even for them. That's pretty long.
You think so?
I think so. I mean, I know they like to chat, but I don't know. I feel like they're also a little more entertaining than we are, so they can get away with it.
Well, that might be true too. But
we are no Em and Christine. Sorry to say.
We are not. No.
No one could ever be. We love them.
I'm not. You're the Christine, I'm the M, but I'm not near as funny as them.
Yeah, I'm not near as cool or funny as Christine, so it's fine.
It's okay. We're the Oklahoma country version of Christine.
We're the off-brand. That's what we are. Okay, anyway, hopefully they never hear this. They won't. They won't. Anyway, I am going to tell the story today of Fort Washita.
Ooh,
do you know anything
exciting.
about Fort Washita, Catherine?
I know nothing about Fort Washita.
Great. You're going to learn so much. I did, because I also
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's a good one. There's some really spooky things there, like lots of really kind of random stories. There's like a whole...
Okay, cool.
I'll get into it. But anyway, it's pretty cool. So my sources, just to start out, were ghosts.fandom.com. All right. A Facebook video by Chickasaw Nation Workshops that told, it was like 18 minutes of ghost stories. It was great. So get on their Facebook and go watch that. I think they posted it in 2020. Maybe reposted it more recently, but it's a cool one. It's like an 18-minute like ghost stories video. So cool. That's great. Hauntedhouses.com, militaryghosts.com, which is a website apparently. Didn't know that existed. Yep. The Oklahoman, okhistory.org, and chickasaw.net. So awesome. We're going to dive right in with the history. Okay, so Fort Washita was established in 1842. It's located in Bryan County, and the fort is 1.5 miles east of the Washita River and 18 miles north of the Red River. Okay. Which tells me nothing because I know where nothing is, but it's fine. It's somewhere there. So the mission of the fort was to maintain peace for the Chickasaw and Choctaw nations within their new lands. Apparently, there were a lot of outside threats at the time to those tribes in their new lands, including attacks by the Republic of Texas militia, raids by the Plains tribes. Naturally, thanks, Texas. Raids by the Plains tribes, the presence of traders and trappers, and numerous other intruders. They didn't say who they were, but there were intruders. So that's why it was. That surprises me that they even cared enough to put protection in place. I know. Yeah, I was surprised. I'm like, well, at least they did something, but okay. Yeah. I was like, okay, good. That's good. Protect them. So construction of the permanent buildings there began in 1843. So this is like way back then. Yeah. And okay, within 15 years, there was a hospital, a surgeon's quarters, and barracks. Other amenities included a bowling alley, a bar, a library, and a newspaper. Okay, a bowling alley. That's what got me. That's like the last thing I ever expected to see on this list. And like, did they even have bowling alleys in the mid-1800s? I can't imagine that they did. I didn't know that bowling alleys even existed back then. We're about to go on a deep dive. Yeah, I was about to say, I gotta know. First, I'm typing it in right now. Oh, except I misspelled every word. Great. First bowling alley in America. 10 oldest bowling alleys in the U.S. according to oldest.org. That's 1966. That tells me nothing. I gotta scroll back to number 1. Where's the oldest one? 1846. People bowled back then? Bowling was a thing? I guess. Okay, but this bowling alley didn't make the list. Ours didn't. That Fort Washita. No sense. I'm so confused. Okay, apparently bowling was a thing in the mid-1800s. Surprisingly. I'm so confused. According to oldest.org, the oldest one that's what I'm looking on. Is that what you were in?
Yeah, in Connecticut.
1846. So like the time
Yeah,
works, I guess. It existed at
I
least.
guess. But it
Surely
makes
they
a
added
whole
that
lot more
later.
sense for there to be a, but that makes so much more sense for there to be a bowling alley in Connecticut, which was way more populated and way more urban,
Right.
like that, like kind of eastern region versus Oklahoma, which was
Surely, okay.
very,
So surely they just like added that to the list because it was added later. Like I cannot, well, no, because this place didn't last very long. I'm so confused. Okay. I really got off on a tangent there.
okay.
But apparently there was a bowling alley, and I'm very confused about that timeline. But we're just gonna go with it for now
We're gonna go with
because
it for now. Okay.
I don't know. Let's get back into this because wow, sorry, bowling alleys confused me.
Bowling alley investigation.
Yeah, like what in the world? Okay. Anyway, during the 1850s, the fort was a popular stop for travelers headed to the California gold fields. Maybe they stopped there to bowl. I don't know. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, I'll stop
Bowling
now.
pit stop.
Bowling pit stop on the way to the gold rush. I would. Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Bowling's fun.
Sounds like a fun time.
Yeah, I would stop there to bowl too. I
Yeah.
just so confused. Okay. Fort Washita operated as a United States military post until the start of the Civil War in 1861. Then it was occupied by Confederate forces until 1865. And then the fort was almost completely destroyed by the Confederates as they fled at the end of the war. So that tells
Of
me the
course.
bowling alley had to be there first. It had to be there before this because it was like destroyed. So
Yeah.
they had bowling. I'm sorry, I have made this entire thing about the bowling alley because that's all I can think
But
about.
yeah, when you said bowling alley, I was like,
That's my takeaway
what?
from this. Sorry, my
1840s? What?
yeah, I'm so confused. Like, okay, anyway, but apparently there was bowling alley, and I am fixated on that fact. I
Okay.
will try to move on. I will really try to move on. There's not a lot left for the history anyway, because it was like pretty much destroyed. So after the
Yeah.
war, after the war, the fort was granted to the Chickasaw Nation. The Dawes Commission later allotted the fort and surrounding land to the Charles and Abby Davis Colbert family. And then maybe they added the bowling alley. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm getting back on track. So in 1962, the Oklahoma Historical Society acquired the fort and restored it as a historic site and museum. I feel like they didn't put a bowling alley in it if it was a historic site and museum. So it had to be pre
Yeah.
1962. So it was either when it was a fort for those like few years, like 15 years or something, or it was that family. And I feel like the family probably didn't put a bowling alley in
No.
there. I don't know.
No.
Okay. We're just gonna have to title this episode Bowling Alleys? Question mark? Because I'm so fixated on it. Okay. Anyway, after that, in 2016, the Chickasaw Nation partnered with the Oklahoma Historical Society to assume responsibility and management of the fort. And then in 2017, it was officially purchased by the Chickasaw Nation. So back with the Chickasaw Nation, like it was at the beginning.
Okay.
So it is officially listed on the National Register of Historic Places and is designated as a National Historic Landmark.
Okay.
So, some of the things you can do if you want to go to Fort Washita. Do you want to know what there is to do?
I do.
There's not bowling. I'll tell you that much.
Are you kidding me?
You can tour the restored structures. You can see live Civil War reenactments. You can take part. You might like this part. You can take part in the yearly fur trade era rendezvous.
Oh,
I don't know what that is.
Rendezvous for fur
Sounds
trade.
fun. It sounds very fun.
We need to check this out.
I want to go. I don't know what it is. Don't know what they do there, but I'm down. Let's take a trip.
I'm for
So
it. Let's do it.
They also host like seasonal and holiday events, outdoor movies, storytelling events, things like that. So like they've got something going on pretty regularly, it looks like, but I want to go to the rendezvous, whatever that is.
I want to go to the rendezvous.
I just want to go ask somebody where the bowling alley was, is all I want to know about this place.
Please tell me that the ghosts play bowling.
They better. Why would you not? If I was a ghost, I would be at the bowling alley the whole time. That would be so fun.
Yeah.
Like, what else are you gonna do?
Are you kidding me?
What else are you gonna do? You're
exactly.
dead. Yeah. So anyway, I have to move on. I have to get past this bowling alley. let's go to the spooky stuff because that's all there was for history. Like there's not much.
Wow.
Surely there's more, but that's the basics. It didn't really last very long, and then it was like restored later on as like a historic landmark, but the time it was actually active, like there wasn't much. There wasn't a lot of time there. So let's move on to the spooky stuff. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. So one notable ghost from Fort Washita is Aunt Jane. She's probably the most like notorious ghost from there. She's the one that I read about a lot. But nobody really knows who she was. There are 3 very contradictory stories about who she was.
Okay.
They're all completely different. They're all completely different. So the first story is that she was a freed slave from somewhere in the northern US. We don't know where. And she was sent to Fort Washita to monitor the movements of the Confederates there. But when the Confederates discovered what she was doing, she was beheaded.
Ooh, not fun.
Not fun at all. So that's all of the first story. That's all we got. Second story is that Jane was the wife of an officer at the fort, so completely different person. And she was known to always carry $20 worth of gold with her for some reason, which today would be close to $700 worth of gold.
Why would you?
I don't know. Okay. I also, on another site, I read that was in the first story. So it's all mixed up. That like it was the Jane from the first story that would carry the gold, and it was to prove that she was free, like a freed slave. But I'm like, girl, don't carry that much. That's a lot. That's $700 in today's money.
That's asking for you to get hurt.
Like I don't know how much gold that would be, but I feel like that would be a lot. I don't know.
That's a lot.
It seems dangerous. Seems like not a great choice, but you know,
it does not seem like a great choice.
So we're gonna hop back into the second story because that's where I saw it mostly. Is that it was the officer's wife who was like known to carry $20 worth of gold on her at all times, and then one day on her way back from town, wouldn't you guess, she was attacked by bandits. I wonder why she was attacked by bandits.
Yeah, I wonder why if you're carrying $700 worth of gold.
Yeah, but during the attack, one of the bandits chopped off her head. So, poor girl.
That's rough.
If you're sensing a theme, it's a beheading theme.
A beheading theme. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what it reminds me of?
What?
The Six musical. Divorced, beheaded, died.
So divorced, good. We went and saw
beheaded,
6.
Survived.
We love 6. It's so good. We went and saw it like what, 2 weeks ago? Yeah, like
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Yeah, it was very fun. Very fun show. Anyway, well, 2 weeks from the time we're recording this, like a month ago for you guys listening.
Right.
So anyway, third story. Here we go. Just gonna warn you, there's another beheading if you hadn't picked up on that theme. So the last story is that Jane was involved in a love triangle. This is our scandalous story. So
I like
my favorite
scandal.
kind. It's my favorite kind. So in this story, she was also the wife of an officer. So we keep that the same. But one night, her husband returned home from patrol and found her in bed with another soldier.
Ooh.
And then in a fit of rage, he beheaded them both and threw their bodies in the river.
Dang.
I don't know about their heads. I don't know what happened to their heads. It just said threw their bodies in the river. So.
Ooh.
So I don't know.
That's creepy.
I also don't know why she's called Aunt Jane instead of just Jane.
Yeah.
But they call her Aunt Jane. And she is said to be searching for either her head or her gold. I think it's probably the head because I think that's probably bothering her more that it's gone. But maybe both.
No, I don't know. I get, needing more money. So
I mean, relatable.
Relatable, girl. I'm searching for more money too.
Aren't we all? So she's said to be seen searching for her head or her gold or both during full moons in the months of March and October. I don't know why it's so specific.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Not every full moon.
Not every full moon. Just the ones that are March and October. For some reason.
Okay. All right.
That also kind of becomes a theme. Like in another story, it's like they are seen in March and October, and I'm like, why?
Touristy seasons?
Sorry. Probably. No, I mean October I get like the veils. Well, okay, March maybe no.
Like spring break, touristy.
Yeah, probably. Good
Sorry.
move for Washita. Good move. I like it. Good plan. Good plan. You guys were on
Good
to you,
plan.
but it's good. It was a good plan.
It was a
No,
good plan until we got here.
I'm just thinking like is the veil thinnest at those times? Like October, obviously.
Yeah.
But
When are the equinoxes? They're in like
let's Google equinox dates. When's the spring equinox? March. Okay,
okay.
I bet that's it. Veils are thinnest during those times.
Yep. Yep, that's it.
Okay, we figured it out. It's not just tourists, or maybe
It's not just for the tourists.
But maybe it is though.
Maybe a little both.
A little both. Okay, so her ghost is said to be green in color for some reason. I don't know why, but she's green. Okay. She's a green ghost floating around, looking for her head.
Green lady, okay.
And her gold. Yeah. Like I'm used to like the lady in white, the lady in red. But a green ghost, like not that she's wearing green, she is green. She is a green ghost.
That's weird.
We've got Elphaba on the loose. That's what's happening. The Wicked Witch is on the loose. That's
it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's
Elphaba's out.
Yep. Elphaba's wandering around only full moons of March and October in Oklahoma. Yeah. Looking for her head. Yes. Okay. Anyway, she's said to be green for some reason. And she's known to have a stronger dislike toward women, which I found really interesting because usually it's the opposite. Usually the female ghosts are more aggressive toward men. And usually the male ghosts are more aggressive toward women. So I don't know what's up with that.
Nothing in her story that talks about why she would be more aggressive towards women.
Yeah, it was always men that did this to her. So I don't know. Okay. I couldn't figure it out. I was trying to figure out like what it could be, but I don't know. So if you think of something, let me know. So there was one woman who was like a history reenactor. Like they'll like stay there, I guess. And she was staying there along with like another, I think there were 2 women staying there. So one woman, she claimed that while she was spending the night in the ruined forts, she was awoken by an invisible force trying to strangle her using corset strings.
Using corset strings? Wow, so specific.
Yeah, I know. Like anyway, I don't know. How do you know that it's corset strings? I mean, I guess you can kind of tell. She probably had a corset because she was a reenactor.
Huh. Okay. Yeah. Were they like removed from the corset?
I don't know. Were they her corset? Did they just appear from somewhere?
There's so many questions that we don't have answers to in this story.
There's a lot of missing information. Like a lot. I'm gonna need people to get their facts out there more because I couldn't
find bowling alleys in a time that doesn't make sense, and now corset strings that are disappearing. Like we need more
out of nowhere. Like whose corset is this from? Were they ghostly corset strings? Did they even exist?
There's too many questions.
So many questions. Okay. But she was being strangled with corset strings. So,
Was she trying to behead her with the corset strings?
That's what I think. That's my bet. But like, what are we to like? Corset strings aren't going to behead someone, though.
No, but if she was confused and she thought it was like a,
that's true.
What's the wire thing? Like a garrote?
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
Maybe she thought it was that and she got mixed up.
Maybe. Who knows? But a few hours
I hear later, wearing a corset is killer, so.
Been there, done that. That's a good one. Okay, moving on. A few hours later, another woman who was with her awoke with the feeling that an invisible presence was hovering over her. Which, like, it's not as intense as somebody getting strangled. I feel like maybe she was like, I want to be part of this too.
I know, that's exactly what I thought. I thought it was
feel left out.
She felt left out. She wanted to be part of the scandal, or not the scandal, but part of the story. Yeah.
No, that's what I think. Because I was like, girl, you just felt a presence standing. Like, I've been there, done that. Like, I get it. But your partner was strangled with corset strings, and you're just like, I think somebody's watching me.
Yeah, that's no.
Little.
I mean, we've definitely felt that weird thing of it feels like somebody's right behind you. I mean, when we went to Thackerville.
Ooh, yeah, that was creepy.
It kept feeling like there was somebody right around us.
I mean, at Stone Lion, I definitely was like, there's something in this room at the end of the bed. Did I tell you
Yeah.
that? Okay, yeah.
No, I
While
don't
I
think
was trying
so.
to sleep. Well, no, it was when you went to the bathroom and I refused to get out of the bed because I was so scared.
Uh-huh.
And I stayed there, and then you weren't in there. And then I was like, there's something at the end of this bed. Like, I feel it. There's something at the end of this bed. But I didn't tell you because I didn't want to scare you. So I just stayed up all night pretty much. And I was also right by the mirror.
I know you were right by the
Be
mirror.
like a guy in the mirror. I didn't like
But I
that.
also had the mirror on the other side of me.
That's true.
Remember there were two
We're
mirrors.
surrounded by mirrors. Yeah, it was
Yeah, it was not
great.
It was, I mean, it was great, but it wasn't great.
It was great. Don't get me wrong. That was great. But yeah. Stone Lion Inn, you guys check it out in Guthrie. It's great. Great one. Episode something. I don't know what episode.
3 and 4?
Check it out.
No. 4 and 5?
4 and 5? I think 4 and 5. Yeah.
Yeah. Somewhere
you guys can figure it out. You guys are smart. You can figure it out. So
we're hoping to go back there for a Patreon episode.
Yeah, so join Patreon, $3 a month, and you can actually watch the investigation this time, because that's the investigation where we got the EVP of little Irene talking. She also was like turning the flashlight off and on, which was so spooky. Yep. And so we didn't get video that time though, because we didn't know anything. We still don't know anything, but we didn't even attempt to get video that time. We were just recording audio. Yeah, it's taken us, 4 hours to record this? Like, this is ridiculous. So Stone Lion Inn. It's going to be on Patreon. It's going to be a good one because we've been there before. We know what to do, sort of.
Yep. Ish.
So
somewhat.
Okay. 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 I got to get back into this before we run out of time on Zoom. Thanks, Zoom.
Rude.
So the next night, another woman joined the previous 2 women. Okay. And all 3 of them woke up the next morning after having dreams about being suffocated.
Ooh, all 3 having dreams?
All 3 had dreams about being suffocated, which I feel like the second one was probably just like wanting to be part of it again. And then the third one was like, I'm going to come hang out too, because that's crazy. That sounds so crazy. Yeah. And then was like, oh, I had that dream too. That's crazy. I feel like that's what happened. Yeah. I feel like maybe one person had a dream and they were like, yeah, I did too. That wasn't that wild. Yeah. Same dream as you. Anyway, I shouldn't be such a skeptic. We have a paranormal podcast. It was probably a ghost. It was a ghost for sure. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so that is all for Aunt Jane. We don't know why she's called Aunt Jane though.
That's so weird. But, okay.
I know. So another ghost at Fort Washita is the ghost of Julia.
Julia. Okay. So we have Jane and Julia, 2 J's.
Jane and Julia. Yeah. I wonder if they're friends. I wonder if they go bowling together.
I want them to go bowling together.
I know. I thought of like a very dark joke, but I shouldn't say it.
With her head?
My first thought, but I was like, I shouldn't say that. That probably crosses the line. But you said it for me, so thank you.
You're welcome. I got you.
Great. Perfect. So this one, Julia, is also like in that video that the Chickasaw Nation posted on there. It's like Chickasaw Nation workshops page or something like that. It's on Facebook, but it's pretty cool. They told a lot of stories in that video. So this is the first one that I'm pulling from that. So another ghost is the ghost of Julia. So there was a young soldier stationed just outside of St. Louis, Missouri, who had fallen in love with a woman named Julia. And they planned to get married. Very sweet little love story. They were going to get married. But before they could get married, he received orders to come to Fort Washita. So they decided, like, okay, it's inconvenient timing, but like he's going to go first. Right. He'll get it kind of all set up for us, get ready, and then like going to send for Julia.
Right.
And so that was the plan. And they were going to be married at Fort Washita instead of, I don't remember, Fort Jefferson or something like that. Jefferson Barracks? I don't know. In St. Louis. So he made the journey from St. Louis to Fort Washita, but as soon as he arrived, he collapsed.
No.
He had contracted a severe case of malaria on the journey.
Malaria in the U.S.?
Yeah. Apparently so. Listen, there's a lot of things that aren't adding up with this. The bowling alley, malaria.
Malaria.
Aunt Jane and her 3 different stories.
Personalities.
Yeah, like there's a lot
Personas.
going
Okay.
on. And she's green. I don't know. There's a lot not adding up, but just bear
Okay.
with me. Just go with it. Just go with it.
Okay. Malaria
So
in the US. Okay.
he got malaria on the way from Missouri to Oklahoma, apparently.
Okay.
Yeah. So he awoke in the field hospital later, just long
Okay.
enough to say, Julia, Julia, and then he died.
No.
And those were his last words, was Julia, Julia. And he
The
died.
name of his love on his lips.
I know.
Oh.
Sweet. But he was buried in the Fort Cemetery there. And when Julia received word of his death, she died of a broken heart. Which I don't
Okay,
think
that's
is an
actually
actual
pretty sad.
diagnosis, but yeah. It is sad. I don't think that's an actual diagnosis, but
Well,
go with it.
isn't there
I
actually like
actually
I I think there's
so.
actually like some sort of diagnosis that's like not that but is that because there's like
I'm
a
typing
lot
it
of
in. Can
older
you
couples.
die of a broken heart? Dying of a broken heart may sound like it's coming from the pages of a book, but it is possible. Oh. It's known as broken heart syndrome.
Yeah, there's like older couples that like one will pass away and the other will like die the next day because
Oh,
they are literally so sad they don't live.
okay. Well, now I'm really depressed, and I didn't know that was actually a thing. And
Yeah.
now I feel bad for being like, that's not a diagnosis, but okay.
I
Oh,
think it
now I'm
actually
sad.
is.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Let's move on. I'm sad now. So she died of a broken heart. Apparently, actually
Dang.
did. And but okay, it's kind of happy, sort of, because it's said
Okay.
that on Halloween and on the last few days of March, for some reason, you can see the apparition of a soldier riding into the fort, and then a woman in white appearing from one of the barracks, and they like cross to each other and embrace, and then they disappear. And it's
Oh.
Julia and her soldier who never had a name, I guess. Yep.
Julia and John. Let's give it all
Julia and
J
John.
names.
Oh, that's sweet. Precious. Okay. So that's the story there. Ooh, we're running
And
out
then
of
they
time. We
go
have,
bowling together. And then they
and
go
then they
bowling
go
together.
bowling. That's their honeymoon, is they go bowling. Terrible honeymoon, by the way. Okay. Anyway, the
They go bowling
next
with Jane's
ghost,
head.
you said it, not me. The next ghost is known as the lady with the lantern, which
Okay.
spooky.
Okay,
I
that
like
one's
it.
scary. I don't like it. Mm-mm.
See, I was like, I like it. I feel like I would do that as a ghost, just carry around a lantern.
You would, and I would be like
Yeah,
trying to shoot you.
probably. That's how it would go. Okay, so many years ago at the fort, the reenactors would have night battles, apparently, which sounds like kind of
Okay.
unsafe to me, but they would have night
That sounds
battles.
unsafe. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I'm thinking
But that
that's
does
not
sound
a
like an
wise
Oklahoma thing
decision.
to do.
Right. It's in Oklahoma, so we have to just, bear with it. So
Yeah.
one night, two reenactors were told to go to the bridge and hold a position there. And while they
Okay.
were there, I guess they were there for like a really long time, and they were like, should we just go back? Like, we've been here for hours. I feel like we should go back. And so they were like debating whether or not they were going to go back to the fort. But while they were still there debating, they noticed that someone was approaching holding a lantern. And they get closer and they get
Okay.
closer. And they realize it's not like one of the reenactors. It's not anybody that they know. It is this woman who also happens to be see-through.
Mm-mm.
Yep.
Mm-mm. No,
And
ma'am.
so
No, thank
so
you.
they
Mm-mm.
watched they
Bye-bye.
they watched as she like floated from one end of the bridge to the other and then just disappeared.
No. Mm-mm. I got
And I guess the
chills.
lantern disappeared too. Okay, you're gonna like this next one. This next one, it's my last one, and it's my favorite one, and it's not even an apparition, but it's so
Okay.
spooky. It really
Okay.
like
I'm ready.
freaked me out. Okay, so this one's not a specific ghost, but it's super spooky. So one night there were two reenactors who were gonna like leave for the day.
Uh-huh.
But when they were about to leave, they noticed a man and a woman getting out of their car, and they were signing
Okay.
back and forth to each other. And so the woman goes into the barracks building and like immediately comes right back out and is like frantically signing to the man. And
Okay.
so the man approaches the two reenactors and he says, I have a question for you. My wife is deaf, but she's been signing to me over and over and over. the voices, can you hear them? And right? It's so spooky. It's so spooky. So that's what she said. The voices, can you hear them? And she's deaf. So it freaked me out. So before
I have chills. I don't know if you can see them, but I have literal chills.
I believe you, because it freaked me out when I read it. I was like, no way. But before the guys could even say anything, they were like trying to figure out what in the world to say to that. And the woman like ran up and grabbed her husband, and they went to the car and left, and like they never saw them again. So we don't know what happened with that.
That's so scary.
I know, that's my favorite story, and it's not even like a physical ghost, but just like that one really got me. It really freaked me out, and now I'm gonna get under my heated blanket.
Oh, I wish I had a heated blanket right now. Oh, that's so scary.
It's so scary.
We've got to go. I want to hear the voices. I don't, but I do. I don't.
I sure do. There were a few other like short stories in that one video, and one of them was about like a couple of kids. I didn't even take notes on it, honestly, because I was like, I have enough, like I'm gonna leave it out. But I'll bring it up now from what I can remember. One of them was like a couple of kids who went out in the woods there, and they I guess they're reenactors now, like they come back and stuff, but they still won't go in the woods because when they were there as like kids or teens, I think they were teens, they kept hearing this voice say, come here.
No.
They went to investigate. Like they were trying to figure out who was saying that, because one of the boys was like, it sounds familiar. Like, I think it's somebody I know. And then the other one was like, it sounds like somebody needs help. And so they went to try to investigate, and they like never found it, but they kept hearing the voice, and like they would get somewhere and it would sound like it was closer, but there was nothing there. And finally they ended up just getting so freaked out because it was like yelling at them at one point. Like it sounded so close. I'm not telling this right. You guys go watch the Facebook video so you can hear the actual story from like the actual storytellers. But they ended up like running to the fort, and they still like they come back there as adults, but they won't go into the woods because it freaked them out so much.
Oh, I would be freaked out too.
Yeah, me too. And I guess like the adults that were there like went out to investigate, and there was nobody around. Like there was nobody there.
That's creepy.
Yeah, so throwing that little story as a bonus, I guess. Yeah. Very spooky.
So we got to find a time to go.
Oh yeah, that has to be.
We got to add that to our list.
Yeah, for sure. All right, support us on Patreon.
I wonder if we can go at night.
Wow. I bet we can. We can get permission.
Surely we can. Yeah. Okay.
We'll talk to somebody. We'll talk our way into it. It'll be okay.
Yeah. Maybe I have enough relatives in that area that we can get in. I don't know.
Maybe. Who knows? I don't even know where that area is. So
I think that's near where I've got relatives, but I'm not for sure.
Oh, good. Maybe you know somebody who can let us go there. So anyway, we have to go. So spooky. But that is the story of Fort Washita. Very haunted. Everybody go check it out. There are lots of things you can do there that are not ghost related, but I think I bet they do ghost tours too.
I bet
around Halloween.
I would think so. If they sit on if they have a video posted, you would think they would,
I bet they do. Tours. So you guys should check it out if you can. And you can do like self-guided tours too. I don't know about at night, probably not at night, but I bet even during the day, it's probably pretty spooky. So anyway, that is the story of Fort Washita. And this has been
awesome.
Our season 2 premiere. We did it. We finally got through the recording. I didn't think we would. The recording. It's been chaotic, but
with a couple minutes to spare.
I'm gonna have a lot of editing to do. So
yeah,
it'll be great. Yep.
Good luck with that. At least we did it a little bit, ahead of time.
Yeah, thank goodness. Usually it's like a day before and I'm like frantically editing at the last minute.
Yeah.
So we're doing better now. All right.
Well, thank you for listening, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Spooky Okie.
Thank you. Stay spooky.
Stay spooky.